Never appease political bullies, President Bush admonished at the Israeli Knesset. Oddly, House Democrats chose to ignore him on the subject of dealing with him. A new FISA bill that gives President Bush exactly what he wants, increased abilities to spy on Americans without warrants, and a level of immunity for the telecom companies who already illegally spied on Americans for him.
Anytime you hear the United States government talking about wiretap, a wiretap requires a court order. Nothing has changed, by the way. When we're talking about chasing down terrorists, we're talking about getting a court order before we do so.
We now know that Democratic leadership knew about the illegal surveillance program almost from its inception. Even when they were campaigning about fighting for civil liberties, they were aware of an unlawful surveillance program as well as a torture program.
And the law of the land says, get a warrant.
But does it not say probable?
No.
The court standard,
the
legal standard is probable cause.
Just to be very clear, okay, and believe me, if there's any amendment to the Constitution that employees of the National Security Agency are familiar with, it's the Fourth, right? And it is a reasonableness standard in the Fourth Amendment.
Shows the inclinations, unfortunately, of this administration. It treats the Constitution like some legal technicality, and instead of the thing we're trying to fight to protect.
Let's stand up for the Fourth Amendment. Let's remember when this country was founded, Benjamin Franklin said, those who would give up their essential liberties to achieve a measure of security deserve neither.
So we can't go without a bill. That's just simply not an option. But to have a bill, we must have a bill that does not violate the Constitution of the United States. And this bill does not.
Well, I think got to give one to the terrorists for a notch on our Fourth Amendment. They really did some damage today in this so-called compromise. Contrary to what the Speaker said, it really does hurt the Constitution.
In a letter posted online by the conservative National Review this week, Douglas Holtz-Eakin wrote that McCain believes the Constitution gave President Bush the power to order the National Security Agency to monitor America's international phone calls and emails without a warrant. The bill, a bipartisan compromise on FISA, was rubber-stamped this morning, 293 to 129.
The Democrats never really were engaged in this. In fact, they repeatedly tried to cave in to the White House, only to be stopped by civil libertarians and bloggers.
And it's almost like they should every once in a while have allowed an attack to get through just to remind them.
The Führer says, wie ist der Master Race? Wie Heil, Heil! Right in the Führer's face, not to love the Führer is a great disgrace, so be Heil, Heil! Right in the Führer's